Welcome to Well Crafted Studio. I'm here to help you live inspired and create with purpose. So let's get started. Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to be making these little canvas wall hanging banners. So they're a really easy little thing to make and they look great with something on them. Okay, so the fabric that we're using is canvas, or sometimes it's called duck cloth. I found it in the home decor section. They usually have a lighter weight available in the utility fabrics, but this is the thicker. So I bought it in a 60-inch width. So right now it's 30 inches across. And we're going to go ahead and cut it down. So what I did is I folded it over and I'm going to cut it. So this is about 16 inches from here to here. And my finished banners are going to be about 8 inches wide. So what I want to do is just go ahead and make a couple different cuts. So the first one I'm going to do is actually do the 16-inch panels. I'm going to be using a rotary cutter and my cutting ruler and my cutting mat. So my rotary cutter is a little dull, but you guys can see how easy that is. So now I'm going to show you just another quick trick when you're actually cutting big pieces. What you can do is you can just fold it in half and cut across. So I'm going to make sure everything's lined up here on the edges, and I'm going to do that. Okay, one blade from Michael's later, and I'm ready to go again. Okay, so I cut my fabric into strips that are about 8 inches wide and they're 30 inches long. Actually 60 inches because they're folded over. So now I can just go ahead and stack these and make sure my edges are all together. And I can go ahead and cut them at the 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. So now there's a seam right here on the edge that I wouldn't really want, or at the bottom of my triangle. So I'll just make sure and use that for the top. It's like butter. Okay, now these pieces I can unfold and then I can press and then I can use these as well. These are the end pieces. So that works out really well. Okay, so we're ready to cut these into the banner shape. So because I used to make these all the time, I went ahead and I drew a template right on my cutting board. And I put the lines a little bit longer so that when the fabric is covering it, I could still see where those lines are. But even with the lines, I'm going to make sure I try to hit these corners. And then see right here, I really want that point. So a lot of just succeeding with fabric is making sure that everything's lined up and that you've got straight lines. So I'm pressing down, but I'm not going to put my hand in front. And it's actually safer to have a sharp blade than it is to not have a sharp blade. Okay, so now I could go ahead and just flip this over and cut the other direction, or I can just flip it like this, make sure everything's lined up again. I'm cutting 2 at once. So if it's a little off center, it's not a big deal. The big point here, or the big the big takeaway here is that you really want that sharp corner or point. Okay, so now we're ready to sew. So what I'm going to do is take one of the cut pieces that we have and a ruler, and I'm going to measure 10 inches from the point, and then that's where I'm going to fold it under. And then make sure those edges line up. And I'm going to start about 1 inch down and about 1/4 or 1/2 inch in from the edge. And then the biggest point with, or the biggest thing with sewing is that you want to keep things straight. So if you look at the edge and the edge here of the sewing plate, it's kind of a good gauge to kind of figure out if you're going straight or not, if that's not parallel. And then back it up a little to start, and then I'm going to go. And slow down when I get to the edge till I'm about 1/2 inch away, and then I'm going to pivot. Oops, and then I wasn't quite far enough, so I'm going to just move my needle by hand forward and then pivot. And so the edge of the cloth and the edge of the sewing foot are the same. And so I want to keep that parallel. And so I'm just going to make sure as I feed it through that it stays straight. And as I near a point where I'm going to pivot, I go ahead and I put my needle down by turning the crank, and then just check my pivot there. And once again, the edge of the foot and the edge of the cloth are the same. Put my needle down, pivot. Okay, so that wasn't quite right, so I need to do one more. So turn the crank. And I'm going to stop right before I think I'm going to hit that first line that we sewed. And I'm going to just turn the wheel little by little, and I can check from underneath there to make sure that I don't go past that line, because we're putting the we need to keep this channel open so that we can insert our dowel rod. Okay, so that's where I need to be. So I'm just going to back it up a little and then go forward, and then I'm going to lift up my foot, pull it out, and clip the threads. So we're going to clip those threads again. And there you go. All right, so now we're going to grab our cut file. We're at wellcraftedstudio.com, and we're going to go to the library. I've already got that up. So this is a password protected library, but it's free for subscribers. And we're going to go all the way down to SVGs. And we're going to find Stay Cozy. And we're going to download that. And then we're going to move to Cricut Design Space. Okay, so I'm in Cricut Design Space, and I've got a new canvas. I'm going to upload, and then I'm in my uploads. I'm going to go to upload image, and that's going to prompt me to browse. So I'll go ahead and grab that SVG, and it's already uploaded. Save it. And there it is. So we're going to select it and move to insert images. There it is. So I'm going to go up to my width first thing, and I'm going to put in a 5. That's going to change the entire shape of it. It's going to automatically keep the proportions. And I think I'm going to attach it. And then up here, just double checking, it does say cut. And we can save it at this point, or we could go make it. Okay, so there it is. Now this is HTV, so we're going to want to mirror it. So I'm going to click the mirror there, and that like right away does it. And then I'm going to look, and I'm probably going to want to cut my HTV 6 by 8 or so. So I'm going to go ahead and move over and do that. Okay, now we're ready to cut. I've got my maker all set up. I've got my piece of heat transfer vinyl that's been cut to size. I'm going to put shiny side down, and I'm going to line that up and place it on my mat. I'm going to load it. I'm going to click continue. Okay, it's connected to my maker, and we're going to go to set material. I'm going to find heat transfer vinyl, so everyday iron on. It says make sure the mirror is turned on, the iron on material is shiny side down. Got that. We're using the 5-point blade, so we can click go. Okay, so I'm going to unload the mat and flip this over and peel that off. Okay, the next part is weeding it. Okay, so we're ready to do the transfer. So first thing I'm going to do is go to the heat guide at Cricut.com. I've selected Cricut Easy Press and everyday iron on, cotton canvas, and I have the Easy Press mat. So I clicked apply, and it tells me my settings right here. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. I'm going to turn it on, do the plus until I get to 340. Okay, and then it's already set at 30 seconds. Okay, it's going to start warming up. In the meantime, let's go ahead and weed this. So let's see, let's start with I'm not going to weed the whole thing. I'm just going to show you guys part of it here. Okay, so the Easy Press is warmed up, and I've got this all weeded. And by weeded, what I mean is that it's I took out everything that's not supposed to be there. So I'm going to go ahead and warm up canvas just a sec, because it's suggested to do that. I'm going to place this on here. There we go. And then I'm going to put the Easy Press right on top, and I'm going to hit that go. Okay, there we go. Put that back on its cradle. And it said warm peel. And there we go. It's like magic. Okay, so now we're ready to finish these up. So I've got a 1/4 inch dowel rod that's been cut to about 10 inches. And then the cut edge, I cut it with a ratchet pruner, so it was a little bit rough. So I just take a little sandpaper, just kind of break that down. And then if I were to create these to sell, I would probably go ahead and stain the ends as well. It's kind of a design choice. I'm going to slide the dowel through. And then we're using jute to tie this off. I'm going to create a loop and a knot. And just knot it here. So you could use butcher's twine, you could use baker's twine, you know, whatever you would like to try. I cut that off. So I've given myself extra to hang it with. Wrap that around and tie it. And then again to knot it. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit extra because it's cute. And I can just tie a bow around this. There you go, pretty perfect for fall. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and if you found it helpful, please like, comment, or subscribe below. And for more tutorials like this, visit wellcraftedstudio.com.